Mine says offline.
Yeah.
Give it a second, guys. Okay, we're back up, guys. All right, sorry about that, folks. I'm not sure what's going on with the XSplit today. It's losing its mind, or either I am. But anyway, we're
Yeah.
back. So before we left, Cosmic was just wrapping up talking about the presentations, and I was going to talk about. They say much better, which is great. I was going to talk about the Raven. Um, those of you who saw the presentation know that Chris opened up the show this year with a presentation of a new ship called the Aegis Saber Raven, and this particular ship really impressed me. Usually, I'm not too well. I've been kind of iffy about any new fighter ships, but they introduced this one as a new ship that has EMP capability. And from when I looked at the specs, and maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, on the specs it said that this fires EMP missiles as well as pulses or something like that. Did you guys see that?
Yep, awesome.
Yeah, it has a beautiful design, and some people kind of wondered why they called it a Saber Raven versus just making it an Aegis, Raven, and that's it. And I kind of agree to a certain degree. I mean, it's not really doesn't look like a variant necessarily of the Saber. It seems like it's its own ship, and so I'm kind of curious to see what the lore is behind that. I'm not sure when we'll see some details on it because they haven't done a Q&A on this yet, have they?
No, not yet.
Okay, but they got the QA out on the Pioneer, but not this one. So, anyway, you guys also know that when they did this particular ship, they did it as a part of a special edition with Intel. There was a partnership that was done with Intel. This isn't the first time that we've seen CIG do this. They did this with AMD a few years back with the Mustang, the Omega. And Archie, I hate to ask you, do you have one of those too?
Which one?
The Mustang Omega.
Actually, no. The one I have is the Alpha and.
I mean, tell me there's a ship you don't have? Ooh, let me break out the celebration. There's something Archie doesn't own.
Well, I have two Mustangs.
That's all you need, right? Well, who needs three when you got two, right?
A Mustang is a Mustang.
A Mustang's a Mustang. Yeah, just a different paint job, right?
Yeah.
Cosmic, what did you think about the Raven?
I thought it was great. It looks really, really nice. I loved the big model they had at CitizenCon.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
My very first impression, though, was at first I thought it looked real luxurious, like a 300 or a 600 series ship. It looks awfully nice for a fighter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it's a real nice ship. Yeah, I like the design of it.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think that they'll ever make this an in-game ship, or do you think it's going to remain exclusive to this Intel purchase? And let me talk about that a little bit, by the way.
You mean buy it in-game?
Yeah. Let me before you answer. Before you answer.
Buy everything in-game.
Well, before you answer, let me say this. This ship was tied to the purchase of the new Intel SSD. It's a PCI. Well, it's not only PCI, but it's a SSD card. The 900p series, if I'm not mistaken. And if you buy a 900p, they run for about $389 for the 280 gig, or the 240 gig, and then I think the $589 for the 480 gig. And these cards are supposed to be really fast. They're supposed to be kind of cutting edge. CIG's been using them on their computers while they've been testing, and they rant and rave about how fast they are. But you get this ship if you buy that card. That was the presentation that you see right now that Chris is talking to with the rep from Intel. Go ahead, Cosmic.
Oh, what about it?
Right, and in answer to your question, this particular ship, I don't think we'll ever be able to purchase.
Okay.
Because it came with that Intel Optane. But I honestly believe they'll sell this ship again very soon, maybe at the anniversary sale or something, but it'll have a different color scheme or something slightly different to distinguish it from this one.
Okay.
And then whatever they sell, sell to us or present to us, will be purchasable in game, but this one will be unique. It'll be kind of like that. What was it? The Mustang Omega, was it? That they
Yeah,
sold?
the
Yeah,
Omega.
yeah, very limited to this to
Yeah,
make it special for these people.
yeah. Rear, I think the one that they gave away was the 480 gig. This is the one that he tossed out to the guy in the audience. That's their premium one. Versus the 240 gig. But I know someone who, in fact, if you go to Newegg was exclusively the ones that was pushing this card. I looked at a lot of computer places. I didn't see anybody else other than Newegg with it, and they've sold out a couple times. What you can do is put your name on their wish list or their notification list, and when they get more in stock, you get a notification saying, hey, we've got them in. They went very quickly the other day. Red Wolf, in fact, Archie, purchased one, and I was looking at it the same day, and I came back later that day and they were out of stock again, and he bought
Does it
the
come with the
240.
chip?
Yeah, it comes with the ship. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it comes with the ship. But he bought the 240, and they were gone. So these things are not sticking around. Whether people are buying them because of the card or they're Star Citizen people are buying them, they're
You know,
going quick.
Griffin, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
Maybe a year for a half from now.
Yeah, yeah, and for people who maybe have wanted to upgrade to a SSD and don't own any, then yeah, it's not. I get it. It's like, here's a great opportunity. You're going to pay maybe a little bit more premium for the price, but you're also getting one of the fastest cards out there, and you're getting the ship thrown in. Some people say you're actually buying a ship and getting the card thrown in, but depending on how you want to look at it.
I'm running Star Citizen in a smaller SSD, but not the one technology that they have now. I
Yeah,
bought mine a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, SSDs are great. I mean, that's definitely the way to go. And, you can always find yourself chasing your tail if you're going to chase technology. You have to get what works for you and what you can afford at the time, and pretty much be happy with it. Unless you're Richard, Miku, who has the ability to just upgrade when he wants to, which is a great thing to be able to do, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is supposed to be a really, really nice drive. So, anyway, that's my speech about the Raven and the deal with Intel.
There was recently an interview with some CIG people, including Sean Tracy, with Newegg, all about this Optane. I put the link there for you in chat. Okay?
Awesome. Thanks, Cosmic.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on because we've talked a little bit about what we enjoyed about CitizenCon. We're going to hit our commercial, and this is a very cool commercial that's going to lead into our subject today, guys. So for those of you who are in chat, you guys know that our next subject is our big subject today called Salty Citizens. But Archie and Cosmic have no idea what this commercial is going to be, but I'm sure that everyone here will appreciate and know exactly what it is. So we'll be right back. Ooh,
That's the
salt.
king. That's the king of the salt industry right there.
Cosmic, is your jaw on the ground?
I just love the ship flight model where the engines are exhausting like crazy and he's flying backwards. I just love that part.
Well, for those of you who don't know, that was the classic game Line of Defense. Line of Defense, look it up, Line of Defense. We're at our segment where we're going to talk about Salty
I,
Citizens.
I heard that game's been out since what?
2011. Started in 2011.
2011?
Yeah,
And,
6 years.
and it's still under development?
Yeah, still in development. Yeah, they're like in beta now, supposedly. 6 years later. Yeah. So our question: Star Citizen, is it a scam? Is it a scam? Archie, if someone were to ask you that question, is Star Citizen a scam? What would you say?
You know, I just tell them proof in the pudding there. I look at all that we have. Go into starcitizen.com. All you need is $45, and you'll have the universe as of right now.
Yeah, but don't you get the bugs and the glitches and the problems and the?
That's part of testing. That's part of the
I don't want to
development of
test.
the
I want to
game.
play a game. I don't want to test. Why would I pay $45 to test for? Why would I want to do that?
But the game is there. I mean, you actually could do some missions in 2.63.
45
Uh,
bucks. I could
yeah.
pay. I could pay another. Well, if I wait till a sale comes around, I could play a lot of games for that money and have a whole game. Have 10 hours, 15 hours of gameplay. Why should I put money into this game that I don't even know is going to come out?
It will come out.
Oh, that's what you say. Cosmic, what do you think?
Well, for $45, you get Star Citizen. And for $60, you get two AAA games, Star Citizen and Squadron 42. So for $60, I don't see it as being much of a scam. I mean, you're getting two AAA games here. It just takes a while for them to come out.
A
If you put
while.
any more,
Wait, Cosmic. A while. A while. This has been since 2012. It's been 5 years. $60. What was it take so
actually, it
long?
hasn't been. Actually, it has been a little over 3 years because they started from scratch again, and when they decided to rewrite the CryEngine into what they're terming Star Engine now. So, and then they had to open up offices, hire people, get stuff. But if you spent more than your 45 or your $60, then nobody asked you to do that. You know, you
Oh.
know. I mean, so if you're salty about you're not getting stuff because you spent $400 or $60,000, I don't recall Chris Roberts asking you to spend more than 45.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Right.
So let's say I'm not the guy who spent $5,000, $10,000. Let's say I've only
And
spent.
thank you for your pledges, by the way.
Well, but wait a minute. Chris Roberts is, we've seen pictures of him on his yacht with his wife. We've seen these them building these studios, and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm still sitting here waiting for 3.0 to come out. What's up with that?
Do you know
You
that?
know, I've seen Richard Branson in his mansion on his private island in the Caribbean, so is Virgin Airlines a scam?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Listen, I'm playing devil's advocate with these guys, and they know it. But these are conversations that we
Everybody's
have.
allowed to have a holiday.
Yeah, right.
Well, look at the president. All he does is play golf.
I mean, we've had these conversations before, right? But here, if you guys look at the pictures, and Cosmic and I were talking about this the other day, we've heard all these crazy things that came up. Some of you remember in 2015, CitizenCon, they do this presentation, and if depending on your angle, because of the way the camera was set, it looked like they had built this spaceship and this set, and it was a great CitizenCon, but people walked away from it saying, "Why are they wasting our money building these elaborate sets and stuff?" And wait, Archie, wait. Let me finish the story. Why are they building these sets? Why are they wasting money on this? They should be putting it into the game. And lo and behold, if you look at the pictures, Archie, tell them exactly what that set was.
That's a real hangar with a real Concorde.
Yes, they rented a hangar.
I would love to be there.
Exactly. So the people who were there knew that's what it was, but people who watched the stream thought that they had built some elaborate set and spent money. No, they were in a hangar underneath the Concorde aircraft. And these were fans. I mean, this wasn't just, the outside salty people. These were some people within the community who got all bent out of shape over nothing. Nothing at all. Cosmic, why don't
You
you tell
know,
the story about the doors? Talk about the doors.
Very quickly, Griffin, I just thought of this. There is a real airplane that people questioned it was faked. We take a cardboard cutout of Montoya to Citizen Car, and nobody questions it.
Yeah, and they bow to it too. They even bow to it.
Yeah.
I would have bowed to it if I would have saw it.
Point well made. Point well made. Point well made. Jolly says something here in the comments. And listen, guys, we want you to start sending in your questions. If you've got something salty to say, I want you to type the word salty in big letters in front of it so I'll see it, and post what it is you want to say about being salty, whether it's you're being salty or other people are being salty. But Jolly says a good thing here. He says early access has ruined people. And I think that's something that we should talk about. The fact is that we have gotten used to this thing, especially on Steam, where we see these games that have quote-unquote early access. People, quote-unquote, want to be able to be the first ones to try something out. Now, there's nothing wrong with that in the sense of, saying, hey, I'm really excited about this thing. But early access usually also has an aspect of saying we want you to have early access because we're testing things. We want to see whether the network is working correctly, or how many bugs we have to deal with, or how does the community feel about what we're presenting. It doesn't mean that it's a finished product. But unfortunately, most people now, in my opinion, go for early access only because it means that I'm first in line and I get to play it. And they forget about the dynamic that early access is there for a testing dynamic. Now, some people say early access is also a dynamic for developers to get money, and that's the only reason why they do it. They don't really care about the testing dynamic. They're just trying to get some funds in to support themselves, and that may be true. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think it's obviously mostly for testing, but they need the money, and we are the backers. We're the stockholders. We're the ones that allow them to get the studios, hire the best programmers in the world. I mean, look at Brian Chambers and all these people. They're awesome. It costs money for these people. And if we want the type of game we want, we got to hire the best. So we test, we pledge, and we contribute so they can do this to keep them from going private. Because this game's going to be made with or without us. If we don't contribute, if we don't donate, and we don't support it, he's just going to go get financial backers to do it for him. And then they will have the say in what's in here and what's not in here. While we're testing, while we're developing, yes, it gets frustrating. Yes, da-da-da-da-da. But we have the say, and they listen to us within the confines of technical capabilities and Chris Roberts' dream. Because at the end of the day, Chris Roberts came out and said, I have a dream and I would like you to help fund it for me. And if you're willing to do that, I can make the dream. But it's his dream, and it will end up his dream no matter what we want. Okay? But within certain limitations, we can help them balance the ships, balance the weapons, give them suggestions for this, and they listen to us within the confines of those two items. Technical capability for everybody. You can't put things in that only people with top-end computers can play.
Right.
That's why they have low-end computers, medium computers, and top-end at their studio to make sure it will play on all these things for everybody, so that everybody can have some enjoyment here.
Yeah.
But that's what we're here for.
And that gives you the proof that this is not just a paid.
Archie, speak up just a little bit. Archie, speak up a little bit so they can hear you.
That this is not just a pay to play game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's definitely not a pay to win game. That's for sure. Rear's got a question here, guys. He says, will we be able to quantum jump without having a space station or celestial body targeted? That is, a blind jump into empty space. Watching the 3.0 footage makes me doubt it, as they always target something.
We don't know the answer to that right now, but they have mentioned that we will be able to make our own virtual waypoints on your mobiGlas at some point. They won't be real beacons. You'll be able to put beacons too, but you'll be able to plot like, I want to go from point A to point B in this system, but I don't want to take the trade lane. So you'll be able to plot 2-3 other waypoints and then make jumps to them and come out. Whether you can just point it out into dead space and go, my guess is, yeah. but we don't know that for a fact. I
Yeah.
would say yes, probably.
I would say yes too. I think the reason why we haven't seen it is because there wasn't a need to see it. We do it currently with 2.6.3. If you're, you need to escape or you need to get, you could just blind jump. So I don't see any reason why they would remove that. I think it's just for demonstration purposes. It's something that we do already. There's no reason to emphasize it. But again, we'll find out as time goes by.
What's your opinion, Arch?
Yeah, I think in the future we'll be able to plot a XYZ coordinate. That's a three-dimensional numerical system, and for all those you guys that understand what I'm talking about, and just jump to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Cosmic, one of the things I was mentioning earlier about the scam dynamic before we move on and talk about kind of the heart of what's been happening in the community over the last few months. Talk a little bit about that thing that came up with the doors at the LA CIG office.
Oh, yeah. When they first showed the doors, you guys have seen them, I'm sure. They look like the doors on the Constellation, which is Chris Roberts' favorite ship, the Constellation. Now, everybody loved it, but some people got salty about it. Why are they wasting our time and money buying da-da-da-da-da-da-da? But it's very cheap. They just bought some cheap plywood, some paint. They made it themselves in their own time. And it gives a corporate image of professionalism, like the etched glass and the offices. When you get people to come in there, say you visit an office. Now, you spent a few $100s, a few $1,000s. You want to see professionalism. Just like if you visit Microsoft or Apple or ExxonMobil or whatever corporation you go to, their corporate headquarters is going to look nice. It's going to look professional so that they've hired professional people. They're working hard. They're doing their thing. But you also got to make the atmosphere comfortable for your employees, enjoyable, keep their morale up. They work long, hard hours, weekends, and all the rest of it. And they get a lot of salt for that, and they shouldn't. So the doors, and that's the first impression people get when they walk into these places. Personally, I hope they have room for that Raven model in their lobby. Walk in and see the model of that Raven, and then the doors and everything else. It's just impressive. It gives that corporate image, just like any other corporation. And I think it's wonderful. But hey, they didn't waste time. They didn't waste money. They spent next to nothing to build that door, and they did it themselves. I'm impressed it works like it does. I think it's cool. I want one.
Yeah, I will say this, Archie, when we went down to VerseCon, one of the... Go ahead, Arch. Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
We lost Archie's audio.
I worked in engineering companies back in New York, and in the lobby.
Archie keeps cutting in and out.
I don't know. Something happened. I think his mic got disconnected. Hang on. He's trying to fix something.
Testing.
Okay, yeah, we hear you. You there, Arch? Okay, I'm not sure. You might be having some technical issue right now.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Go ahead. You were saying when you worked for the engineering company. Go ahead.
Engineering companies that I worked in before, in the lobby, they had models of projects that they have built, and that's showing professionalism and what the company does.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
it's expensive to do these models too.
Yeah. What I was going to share with the story was that when we went down to Austin, Archie and Red and I had initially hoped that we could go to the CIG offices in Austin. And unfortunately, Archie had to be back in California due to work. So he couldn't stay. He and Red had to leave. On that Monday, I ended up going by CIG's offices just to drop off a goodie bag from Test Squadron. It kind of had some, test patches and sunglasses and weird stuff like that in it. And I was fortunate enough that as I was getting ready to leave, Falast, who works there, as administrative assistant there, or administrative person there, said that they had just hired a new person on board and that she was about to give him a tour, and asked if I wanted to go on a tour. Well, of course, I ran outside and told the Uber, get out of here, grabbed my luggage and went back inside. And I got a chance to take a tour of the CIG office in Austin. And what I will say is this. There was nothing in that office that stood out as being mismanagement of funds or money or waste. It was very modest but very modern, kind of like the great environment for people who were into computers to work in. It was very nice. That's all I can say about it. But when I say nice, I don't mean nice in the sense of luxuriously nice. I mean, it was what you would expect to see in a software development company. And I felt, with the money that I've given toward them, that it was money well spent. But what impressed me most when I was there was, as I took the tour of the office and she introduced me to each section and each person that worked in each section, each one of them, not one of them, did not stop working to turn around and shake my hand and say hi, or say something nice to me, or just take 10-15 seconds away from their work to acknowledge that I was there. And it was a really nice feeling. I was lucky because I was by myself, so it was even nicer. I wasn't in a big group, but it was just really cool to see that all these people, some of whose faces we've seen on stream, some of whom we hadn't, all made that time to say, hey, here's a person who's a backer. They didn't know whether I was a $45 backer or a $10,000 backer, but they stopped and took the time to acknowledge me and say hi to me, which was really awesome,
Yeah, that is some awesome feeling to see from professionals working in the office environment.
Yeah.
I work in an office environment, and I see visitors now and then, but I keep going. I keep at my work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which most of us would do, right? We just kind of keep working when visitors come in. But it was just really nice to see that they acknowledge the fact that, and I guess they understand it. We're the ones who are basically funding their livelihood, so they stop and at the very least say hi, which is awesome. Let me ask you guys another question, and you guys can, Archie, I'd like to get your opinion first, then Cosmic. Why do you think that this whole thing about a scam, vaporware, that it will never be released, you should get a refund, why do you think that that's still being said 3 years, 4 years later, after all of what we've seen?
I think it's envy because of the progress and if you go to StarCitizen.com, you'll see the proof right there, and it's envy. That's my opinion. Envy.
Okay, envy on the community's part or individuals' part?
No, on the fact that they can't see, they can't come up with something as good as Star Citizen.
Okay. Who is they? Again, individual or community?
The individual.
Individual. Okay. But why do you think? Go ahead.
On that topic, I agree with Archie. I think a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it has to come from certain people who want it to fail, so that they can say, "I told you so." I'm the greatest programmer ever existed, and all that. They want it to fail. But there's more than that. There's just people that, yes, it's been a long wait, and they sometimes have trouble understanding that major games do take a long time. There are some of these, what I call pinball arcade games, that they can spew out every 6 months or so, but they're all pretty much the same. They just change the graphics and get on with it. There's the same engine, the same game. But when you have when you have a major game, it takes 6-7 years to come out with them. Any really good game takes a long time. Especially when you start without an office building, no employees. Star Citizen started with 5 people.
Yeah.
Okay. They've moved office in LA twice. They've moved office in Texas twice. They had to come up with an office in Frankfurt. And get this all up and running, get it built. We've seen them give us the tours of the construction guys in there hammering in the background, getting this stuff built. So this stuff does take time. but people want it to fail. There is just a group of people, but it's like real life. They're less than 5% of the population.
But you know what really hurt the most, in my opinion, Griffin and Cosmic, the time that this person uh, actually went and did verbal comments on the family, kids,
Yeah.
and the special lady. They don't have nothing to do with this problem that he's creating. I mean, look, I have a piece of salt, and this is just a reminder.
And early access does contribute a little bit to it because we see stuff and then we want more and more and more. And they show us snippets, just like they did recently, at CitizenCon. Here's what's coming with our Corp and Hurston, but now we want it now. We're anxious and we want it because we know they're working on all this stuff. Uh, so yeah, that helps a little bit because in today's age, most of us we want it now. We're not very patient about stuff. But we know it's coming, so just be patient and we're going to get it.
Yeah. Cosmic, I think your point too about timelines for the company is big. I think we've gotten used to a lot of the major corporations or companies, publishers such as Electronic Arts or whoever they happen to be, right? Activision, whoever. Um, when games are being produced, people don't realize that when one game is just being released, they've already been working on another game for maybe 2-3 years. And so those games may take 5-6 years to come out, but because they churn them out at such a certain rate, and also because quite often they're using the same game engine, they're just maybe coming up with new gameplay, there's a feeling that, Call of Duty comes out every 2 years or every 3 years, not realizing that they've been working on that game for 5 years, 5.5 years. In Star Citizen, we saw the evolution of not only a game, but a game company. So in fall of 2012, when we get this announcement, I think that people were under the assumption, like, because the presentation was very professional, that, this company must be in existence and they've already got these things in place and they're ready to go. When the reality was that was just a presentation of a vision. And as you mentioned, it took about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, to actually start building to the place where the company had a decent amount of staff. It wasn't until, I think, late 2014, early 2015, that they really started being staffed up and beefed up. All the studios were being built from LA to Austin to Frankfurt to the UK. All this stuff was being built, and at the same time, there was a development not just of CryEngine, but a move from CryEngine into something even bigger. So we were kind of there from the very beginnings, and people don't get that. They're thinking just from the beginning of the announcement. No, we're talking about the beginnings of CIG, building itself up to a point where it was a fully staffed company, building a foundation for a brand new engine. We saw the partnering with Amazon. There's a whole lot of things that have taken place, and now we're starting to see the fruit of that patience and that wait. And so I think people do have to understand that some games, we could say, well, yeah, it's been, for some people might say since 2012, it's been 5 years. Really, it's been about 3.5, almost 4 years in development. I mean, that's really been anything that I would credit them to. And considering that 3.0 is going to be our closest step toward moving toward what most of us would maybe call an alpha, I think that we are on a right timeline. I don't think that we're running behind schedule or anything. I think that there's just a certain impatience that we have because the way our psyches have been set up in the gaming industry now, that we're just so used to things being churned out, that we've forgotten what it's like to wait on something that's visionary, something that is completely different. And you see that happen whenever a release comes out, because all of a sudden, all the arguing and all the complaining goes away, And I
Griffin,
think,
along those lines, if I may,
sure.
a few minutes back in the chat, Songwing, I think that's the name, Songwing, brought up a good point. Says, it would be good if they presented themes like, quote, this week we're stress testing, and this week we're breaking walls and stuff. Now, if you watch and pay attention, they are doing some of that, Starwing, and it's a great suggestion. But they have bug smashers. They show us, here's the bug, and here's exactly how I go about fixing it. Who else does that in the world?
True.
And then here's the end result, you see. Who else does these things? They show you on things like the interview with Newegg recently. Sean Tracy mentioned that the Evocati people were testing 60 people in an instance. He mentioned that.
Yeah.
Then, in the newsletter we just got Friday, CIG itself gave us a sneak peek of a whole bunch of ships around Port Olisar out there. So, they're showing us different themes in different places around the verse, Lore Maker's Guide, Bug Smashers, Happy Hours, all these different interviews they do around the world. So each one of those, they're telling you different things. There's all kinds of streamers. They're guests on different streams. There's YouTubes. They're guests on these things. They answer questions. They're very as open as they can be without giving away too much. Especially Squadron 42, and that's because Aaron Roberts doesn't want to spoil our experience.
Right.
He doesn't want spoilers out there at this point. I heard rumors that there's going to be at the anniversary thing, we're going to get a total, whether it's all in one shot or little snippets, I don't know, but we're going to get about 20 minutes of presentation about Squadron 42. So they're definitely going to be part of that. But they do tell us what they can and all that. Sometimes they'll say, I can't talk about that for whatever reason. But there's a reason. And then eventually they will. I think that sneak peek that's in the newsletter is awesome. And this thing about 60 players that Sean Tracy told us about, this stuff is just incredible. So they're making progress. It's just we don't see it all every day. They're working on a lot of stuff. Look at ArcCorp. That the guy flies up to a truck stop, he lands, gets out, and looks back down. That's coming.
Yeah.
We're going to do that soon. We just got to be patient.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Songbird or Songwing. That was a great suggestion, by the way.
Yeah. Very, very cool. Well, you guys didn't present very many salty comments in the chat, so I guess you all must be a happy group of Star Citizens, so which is good, which is great. Yeah, and I think it also means that you guys understand what it means to develop this game, and most of you have probably been around long enough. Yeah, we do get frustrated. Yeah, we do get a little impatient. But at the same time, when we see the results of what we saw at CitizenCon, we do get to the point where we say, hey, this is money well spent. The patience is well, deserved toward the folks at CIG. And we all have 3.0 to look forward to. There's been some, as Cosmic just said a few minutes ago, there's been great glimpses of things. The fact that Sean Tracy mentioned the other day that they're testing with 50 to 60 people on the server now. That's great, guys, to think that we're going to jump from 16 to 24 to that. I mean, I remember we couldn't even log in, let alone think about 50 or 60 people playing. And the fact that more and more stuff is coming out in relation to 3.0, the basis, things that we didn't expect. Some of you remember a few years ago, procedural wasn't even supposed to be maybe happening until maybe a year from now. And we've seen so much evidence of the fact of their progress. So feeling good about it right now. Archie, what do you think? You think 3.0 people are going to be impressed from what we've seen so far?
Yes, they are going to be. And a lot of people are not going to be able to say anything because of what is on.
Ooh, are you referring to certain people, Archie, when you say that?
Yes.
Well, you know what?
And here's a reminder.
Okay.
Right here.
Well, I will tell you this, and our fearless leader, our glorious leader, Montoya, says something to me, Aaron, and he's very true. He says that person always moves the goalpost. They'll complain and say this, that, and the other, but then when evidence comes out showing that he's wrong, he moves the goalpost back a little bit more. So I guess we're going to have to hear him complain all the way until, I don't know, he'll probably always complain, right, Cosmic? Cosmic's not speaking to that guy anyway because he still owes him a patch for Battlecruiser 3000.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that patch.
I never got that back. I never bought that game.
Yeah, be glad, trust me. Be glad you didn't.
Griffin, somebody wants to know if that was a test mug you held up.
Yeah, Yeah, Ops Chief asked about it, and Archie showed his, and I showed mine. Yeah, guys, just so you know, I guess we could put in a plug, right? You can get a Test Squadron mug from Test Squadron. On the bottom there, it has our logo, and then under it says Griffin Gaming RPG. Archie says Archie Falcon on his. Yeah, these are great. These are like really heavy, serious mugs. I don't drink beer. This is actually Pepsi in here. But
Actually, I have one for Dr. Yukon Jack.
you got Yukon Jack too. That's right. So yeah, you can order these if you go to Test Squadron's webpage and go to their merchandise page. You can order these, and there's some other stuff that you can get there too. So definitely stop by and support. If you're a Test member, you definitely should support. Montoya, if you're hearing me giving this advertisement, you need to give me a cut. So anyway, we're going to get ready to sign off for the day.
Briefly, I
Sure.
put the link there. If you're not a test member, it's still public. You're allowed to go there and read what you like. We welcome people, no problem at all.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, Cosmic. I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
This week, Test Squadron broke a record, right? We are now at 50. How many is it? How many, Archie?
15,000.
15,000 members. We are the largest organization in Star Citizen, and we broke a record of 15,000. So that's great. You know, listen, let me tell you what's great about being 15,000. It's not that 15,000 of us are going to be playing the game at any given time. Trust me. What it means, though, is that when we get into the game, there's a greater guarantee that there will be other people in our organization there to play along with us. So even if out of 15,000,
The
200,
numbers are growing there, Griffin.
right,
We're up to 157.
15,157, that's even better. So whether that means there'll be 200 people online or 50 people or 300 people, whatever, it means that there'll always be people in our organization that we can partner up with. We can jump on their ship. They can jump on our ship, so we can always have fun. So anyway, that's going to be it. We're going to wrap up for today.
Before you wrap up, I
Sure.
have something I'd like to say.
Go ahead, Cosmic.
Today, November the 11th, in America is Veterans Day. In
Yes.
Europe, it's called Remembrance Day. Thank you to all veterans, active, retired, former members of the military, no matter where you're at in the world. Thank you to you and your families.
Thank you, veterans. We love you guys for your sacrifice and all your hard work and dedication. And you guys have a great, restful holiday today. If you know a veteran, tell them thank you. Acknowledge them for their service and their work that they do. And again, to Cosmic and Archie, my buddies here, we appreciate you guys being here. Archie, you take care of yourself. Get yourself some rest. And get better. Get better. We want you to get better so you feel better. And Cosmic, as always, from the UK, you're putting in the hours for us, but we appreciate you, man.
No problem. Happy to help you guys out.
And to all of our fans and people, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for stopping by. We love you. God bless you. You take care of yourselves.
You know why I stop in, don't you?
Why do you stop here, Cosmic?
Because it makes you and Archie look better.
Oh, okay.
And this is for all the CTs out there. This is for the, yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for stopping in and watching the stream. Thank you for your comments and all that good stuff. Thanks for participating. We all appreciate it.
All right, guys, till next month, it'll be, hey, listen, by the time we come back, it'll be right after the anniversary sale, so we'll look forward to hearing if you guys spent any more money and supported Star Citizen.
I have one more ship to get, the whole D.
Oh my God, the whole D. Oh my God. Yeah. On that note, we'll see you guys later. Enjoy your weekend.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, Griffin.